Do you know what it means to see a strange package on an American street? One day, Smith reported to Burns that the pool where they stored nuclear waste was full, and they needed to find a place to dispose of the waste. Burns told him to put the scrap material into the bag of the stupidest employee in the company. So Burns secretly put the nuclear waste into Homer's bag. However, after eating, Homer forgot his bag. A passing woman found the abandoned backpack and instantly let out a terrified scream. People around her fled immediately. Hours later, the sheriff called in the bomb disposal team. The sheriff planned to blow up the bag directly and then pressed the explosion button. During dinner, the news reported the explosion at the station, which they believed was a terrorist attack. The radiation from the explosion was enough to create 17 Hulks. Subsequently, the mayor convened a meeting, stating that Springfield was no longer safe and that the next terrorist attack could happen at any time. To ensure the safety of Springfield, he hired a security consultant from London, UK. The consultant said that in the 21st century, London was the safest city in the world, thanks to its ubiquitous surveillance equipment. Therefore, the mayor decided to learn from London. Under the security consultant's command, monitors were installed everywhere in Springfield, even in every resident's home. The police station was filled with screens, and it was clear that the 3 police officers couldn't monitor all of them. The sheriff decided to recruit some citizens to help, and Maggie and others were then hired. They began their work. Flanders suddenly noticed 2 minors kissing in the park. As a devout Christian, he obviously couldn't accept this behavior. At this time, the police appeared and said they could use a microphone to correct their behavior. Since then, Flanders devoted himself to correcting people's behavior. However, Maggie thought this was very wrong. People's privacy and quirks were all exposed on these screens. Maggie decided to quit her job. Meanwhile, Bart, who had returned home, decided to show Flanders something disgusting. Suddenly, he found that Flanders' voice disappeared. He took a few steps back, and Flanders' voice came again. After testing, he found a surveillance blind spot in his backyard and circled the entire blind area. When Homer saw this, a way to make money was born. He set up a club in the blind spot of the backyard, and residents from all over the town came, because they could have fun freely there without fear of Flanders' surveillance. At this time, Flanders looked at the wall of monitors and felt very proud. Springfield had become very orderly under his surveillance. On the other side, Bart suddenly sounded an alarm. Homer immediately realized that Maggie was about to come home. He just wanted to let others leave, but Maggie had already arrived. She asked Homer why there were so many people in the house, and said she didn't like others entering the backyard. Homer said he was making money, but Maggie was angry and left in a huff. Flanders happened to see Maggie on the camera and heard what she said. He immediately called home, and his son held up a mirror by the window. Through the mirror, Flanders discovered the party at Homer's house. While everyone was still celebrating, Flanders burst in. Homer went out and accused Flanders, saying that his surveillance had caused all the perverts in town to gather here and that it was all Flanders' fault. Flanders wanted to make amends, so Homer asked him to help dismantle the cameras with him. Just like that, Springfield returned to its original state.